Welcome to the Ancient Way. I'm James.
I'm Marlia. Doot.
Yep. We had an episode in the tank from a couple of weeks ago, and it was about money and like finances and that kind of stuff, and it disappeared. It vaporized into thin air.
It's incredible.
Yeah, and what's funny about that is I think there's 3 total episodes. 3 out of like between 80 and 90 episodes that have lost. I've lost. And it's just out there floating around in the ethers.
I kind of dig it though.
Yeah. Maybe there's a reason.
I love it. Why not?
Yeah, why not? So today we're going to talk about the animal kingdom.
All the animals.
Specifically water animals with 8 tentacles. Squids and octopods.
Octopods.
Yeah. So,
go.
Which we've talked about this. We've touched on it with Dr. Judd a little bit, brought it into that episode. Listeners, people that, know a little bit about me and my workplace, dealt with this octopus spirit thing up here. But we were talking the other day about, have you ever had a situation with a person, and it's usually a spirit operating through a person or through a situation, but you really realize something and you feel really strongly about something, and when it comes time to like confront it, or it's to the point where like, I'm going to take care of this thing, it's like on the other side of it nestles down, or it goes dormant, and it's like, no, nothing's wrong. And I'm trying to think of an example.
I have a lot of them.
Okay, I've got one. Okay, yeah, I do too.
Sorry.
How do we protect people?
Myself. I'm just kidding.
I've got a person in my life that we've had a kind of a knockdown, drag out argument thing, and it's gone over for a couple of years. Finally saw this person for the first time, and I could feel this thing like peeking at me from behind a corner.
Mm-hmm.
It felt like almost as if nothing ever happened, or if there was nothing there that needed to be dealt with. It's just like, yeah, everything's fine. Does that make sense? And I'm like, no, something is deeply wrong here. And I'm almost like in the moment, I'm like, yeah, I can see you looking at me.
Yeah. It's like the true characteristics of the octopus.
Yeah.
An octopus, I learned this, that it not only can change its color, but it will change its shape and its texture to blend in with its surroundings.
Yeah.
And so like it will do that with coral reef. Like it becomes just like coral reef to blend in, to camouflage itself.
Yeah.
It makes me think of like almost like that chameleon spirit, where people want a chameleon to try and blend in and hide.
Yeah.
But it really has its tentacles wrapped around you.
Yeah. Well, in this one, like the only time you really see it is if it's moving. Other than that, it's under the dust or blended in with something, like you're saying, the coral. And it doesn't. I'm pretty sure these things don't have bones, so it can
they're
like
definitely boneless.
Squeeze in and out, and it's kind of gross.
Yeah, but it's interesting how much these spirits take on, and I love that. I was thinking about that today during my second workout of this stupid 75 hard.
Bless you.
But I was thinking about that. Like, we don't wrestle against flesh and blood, but against the powers and the principalities.
Yeah.
And it's like, there's all of these entities that are really trying to camouflage themselves or to hide, to try and create division.
Yeah.
And I think it's so important, as someone who is like really learning not to just like to divide the spirit of like soul and spirit of like, okay, well, what's just their pain points, but also what is this demonic thing that is playing through them, but never attaching judgment to the person.
No.
But also having clear boundaries and a clear line of like, this is over here on the right side is completely unhealthy.
Mm-hmm.
Behavior, that is kind of the octopus that wants to pretend like it's...
Yeah, using that person as a mouthpiece.
Yeah, and then wants to like go dormant. And then it's kind of like that gaslighting thing. Like you think you're crazy for it.
Yep.
And
because when it goes dormant, it's like, yeah, everything's fine. And then you're in your head like, did I overreact?
Totally.
Was I like in some kind of a swirl? Like, is there something wrong with me?
Mm-hmm.
Do I have an octopus or something?
Oh,
yeah.
Totally. It makes you question yourself. It makes you question, like, am I perceiving things right? Is this like, what is going on? I've had something very like that recently within just some of my circles that will make you, like, you feel like you're seeing something clearly.
Yep.
And then something like kicks up and then it's like projected onto you that you weren't seeing clearly. And you're like, wait, that's not.
Yeah.
That wasn't it. Like, I know that I was. Anyways, but it's like an opportunity for you, I think, in any person, like to take up the authority, to take up your keys of like, yo, no, that's not it. Like, and be stable and not let that thing whip you around.
Yeah.
Because it can. That thing is sneaky, I think.
It's very sneaky.
That little octopus with all them little tentacles.
Yeah, and it's such a precise thing that it boils down to like the second or like that. It's like a hairline.
Mm-hmm.
But it's like you have to have the humility, but also the discernment to be able to determine what that is. And you can always consult the Lord on it too. But
yeah.
I think that's what's so dangerous about it, is because it's such a confusing thing. But the truth of it is, it really is kind of a narrow clarity.
Oh, totally. But I definitely think it's, I think it is that control spirit.
Yeah.
Like.
Yeah, it is. It's like a different arm of it.
It absolutely, I think, is a different arm of control that really tries to morph and warp a perspective.
Yeah.
And to get you to doubt yourself.
Mm-hmm.
You know, if you can start getting into unbelief of like, do I really believe that? Like, did that really happen? Like,
yeah,
it can spin you.
Yep. Yeah, it can spin you while it hides, and then it can flare up again later down the road.
Totally.
And just like it stays there. But it's almost like when it gets too hot or when the light shows up, that's whenever it tucks away. It's like, nothing's wrong.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, sneaky.
But I think sometimes too, it will like, I think it really tries to bring division.
Yeah.
Within somebody, like to where they're divided within their person. Like, do I believe that? Do I not believe it? Like, it creates so much confusion is what I mean by that. And so I now have this new rule. If I'm confused about something, it's not God. So I'm not going to sit there and think about it.
Confusing. Yeah.
Because he's not the God of confusion. And so I'm going to table that until I get clarity on it.
That's what I've been doing recently. I've had stuff come up and I don't have clarity on it. And it's like heavy and shocking. And I'm like, what on earth is this? But I've made a resolve. I'm going to be careful. And I told him, whenever I felt this, I told God, because it involves other people. I'm like, unless you clearly tell me, like in a dream where I'm outside of my consciousness right now, because I can't see clearly, you're going to have to tell me clearly if I'm supposed to bring this up, whatever it may be. But sometimes the best thing to do is to not say anything.
Yeah.
You know, it's to shelf it until you have clarity.
Oh, yeah, dude. I feel like I'm still learning that.
I am too, yeah.
I am one of those that, I had somebody tell me this the other day. They're like, yo, you need to stop making it such a big deal that everybody, you need to like talk to people to get understanding.
Yeah.
Not just get understanding, but I mean like for there to be resolve.
Yeah.
Because I'm like, no, we're throwing things on the table. We're going to talk things out. This is going to be messy. Like I'm kind of I can get very resolute of like kind of a bull of like, no, we're looking at this. We're not running away from it relationally.
Sure.
But somebody told me that and they were like, yo, you actually need to like hang back. And I was like, you know what? That's true. That's true. Like there's some times that you don't have to bull rush.
Yeah.
and dig things up and like kind of let it ride its course.
Yeah.
Because that thing, if that octopus being cyclical show, like you'll be able to see it, and if you're not always rushing in to do something about it, you'll be able to see it in such a pattern.
Yeah.
That then you can talk about the pattern.
I wonder if sometimes it wants us to rush into it.
Oof, that's good.
You think about it. That's strategic. It's like, here, act out of that. The bull rush this, which could be as another division thing. I've never thought of that because I'm the same way. I'm like, let's just talk about it.
Yeah.
Get it over with right here or whatever.
Because I'm not one of those. I'm like, things always need to be clear. We need to like clear it out. And I think that's part of the resolve that I have with the Lord is just like I'm ruthless with stuff.
Yep.
Some definitely to an unhealthy level where I'm like hard on myself, but I can see how that it can sometimes be damaging in relationship.
Yeah.
And even just, it doesn't create the place of like, hey, let's really go after this together because some people are just not on that page.
Yeah.
Anyways.
Yeah, that is interesting. I'm glad we're talking about this because I think a lot of people deal with this or experience it or have interactions with this kind of thing. Like I'm thankful we brought it up and like it's an actual thing.
Totally.
I feel like we're kind of shining some light on it now. It's good for me.
Oh, it's totally good for me too. Especially because you think I can get in that mode, especially when there's like flare-ups.
Yeah.
You know, which it makes me, I keep going back. I had a dream about it, you know, like, which the Lord told me. He was like, walk through the fire and go into the arena. But I always know like these flare-ups are happening because refinement is happening.
Yeah.
But I have, for a long time, always internalized it. Like it's just my refinement. It's always my refinement.
Yeah.
Which is kind of selfish if you think about it, but also healthy. You know, it's like, because I so desire wholeness.
Yeah.
But I realized it's not just me.
Yep.
Like we're all going through the fire. And if these things aren't talked about, these little octopus type things, they won't go through the fire.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, I think us talking about it is dragging that thing through the fire to let it be seen, to let it be singed, to like recognize it for what it is. So those patterns and even just giving permission to those things don't continue, if that makes sense.
Yeah, it does.
I feel like I'm kind of talking in a circle on that, but.
Well, it's like sometimes you can't dispense of something without first owning it or without first seeing it. I think that this is kind of falls under that.
Yeah.
That category. It's like if you see it, then you're aware of, I don't have to feed that thing. Or it's like being wise as a serpent. No understanding this kind of thing.
Yeah.
This little thing, because it's sneaky.
Yeah, that's interesting. I won't dive into that. I had a very interesting dream about a snake last night. But,
really?
It's just interesting you said, like, being wise as a serpent. Because it was kind of in context of that.
Really?
Yeah. Anyways, I won't go into it. That is for another day.
Okay.
It's another day.
It's not shareable.
Not today.
Okay, not today.
Not today, Satan.
Okay.
Just kidding. But it's kind of fun when you get into those things, like just the ruthless and awareness of what's happening in your life. Okay, these things are cyclical. Like I was telling you the other day, I went back this time last year.
Yeah.
Identical situations. I mean, I just happened to find them in my journal and I was like, you can't make this crap up.
Yep.
And then I had stumbled upon something that I wrote in my journal a year ago around this time. And then the next day I had a friend text me about something that I had written in my journal that I had texted her about. And she was like, hey, do you remember this? I found it in my journal. And I was like, that's weird.
Yeah.
I just was looking at it. So I felt like it was like prevalent timing and even just readdressing some of those things. I think within me, but also within my spheres, like things that I've come up against in my spheres.
Yeah.
Anyways, I just thought that was interesting.
Yeah. Even like is it a season for it?
I
is
think
it octopus season right now?
You know, Rosh Hashanah is Saturday.
Yeah. Yeah.
It must be octopus.
Shows up.
Octopus season.
Shows up to oppose that maybe. Like maybe a last ditch effort before the new year.
Yeah. Or we're seeing it because we're about to get promoted out of it.
That's usually what it is, right?
Yeah.
I feel like it's a promotion talking about it, showcasing it. I feel like we got one of its arms. You know, we're gonna pull it in. Like,
grab that tentacle.
Get back here, yeah.
I was talking to Zach about well, never mind. I'll read that in a minute. But kind of about, dang it, I lost it. I had so many thoughts at one time.
I understand.
Do you ever have that happen?
Yeah, on this show all the time.
I literally thought of 3 things and I was like, oh yeah, that, and then I lost them all.
They flew away. They'll come back.
Speaking of Rosh Hashanah, that's what I'm just going to go into because that was somewhat there. I heard this quote today and I was like, bro, this is it. It says, you never know. Thomas Jefferson said it.
Oh.
You never know how a place affected you until you've left it.
Yeah, that's interesting.
And what I thought was interesting about that was the whole thing about Rosh Hashanah being a place of promotion. And it's like, I feel like we're in that season where a lot of things are getting heightened for us to take our authority on so we can leave that place. So we can even leave that, almost that engagement. Yeah. Because if you think about it, I don't think we're always going to be dealing with the same power or principality. We should be
No, we're meant to, Yeah,
we're supposed to conquer that thing, meaning things should be finished.
Agreed.
So it just made me think of that. I was like, that's what we're doing. We're leaving this place.
Yeah, we're leaving it, and we're with it.
The
and understanding of we get to snap those tentacles off and wear it on our belt.
Right, but I think we're seeing how it's affected us.
Oh, yeah.
You know
the gold
what I mean?
in that, too. Yeah.
We're seeing how it's affected all along and being able to move on. But anyways, it's exciting.
Yeah, it is. I
think a good thing to do during Rosh Hashanah is, evaluate the year. What's the Lord added to you? Do you see things cyclical in your life? Have you seen patterns that have happened? And connect to the Lord on it.
Yeah.
Because I think he wants to promote people. He's looking to promote us, to show himself strong on our behalf. And so, diving into that. Guys, we got something really cool coming up. So, we're going to wrap this up early. We'll see y'all next time.
Bye. If you enjoyed this episode of the Ancient Way podcast, drop us a like, share with your friends, share with your family. And if you would like to support us and what we are doing, and you would like to play a direct role in our growth and things that we do in the future,
we have a donation spot at the bottom of our show notes. So you can click on that, give however much you want. We appreciate absolutely everything. We appreciate our listeners. And everybody that's already come alongside and encouraged us, and even everybody that's been on our show. So thanks, guys.